Play that clip. Let's play that clip from Blake Snell,
Yep.
who I have no idea who he plays for, what he plays, and how he plays, but I like the way he was speaking last night on his Twitch stream.
Almost won the Cy Young last year in the AL, so he's good. He's
everybody,
very good.
Everybody knows you win a Cy Young. That means you're the best
pitcher in baseball.
Yeah, absolutely you are. Sports show. Let's talk about it. And also minor league baseball player. He was on his Twitch last night, and this is what I like about 2020 the most. Guys don't have to go through media to get their narrative out, right? So Blake Snell opened up about this. I assume he had thought this out very, very, very well. I mean, this was a great message. And if he tells this to an old school, let's say this is 15 years ago, he tells this to an MLB writer, that person will take out certain clips of his quote and say, so you want me to take 33% and then kind of paint it bad. Blake Snell last night on his Twitch playing baseball, I believe on his Twitch, unloaded a bunch of information on why the MLB players hate the thought of what's being proposed to them in coming back and playing baseball in a shorter season.
Bro, y'all gotta understand too, because y'all gonna be like, bro, Blake, play for the love of the game, man. What's wrong with you, bro? Money should not be a thing. Bro, I'm risking my life. What do you mean it should not be a thing? It 100% should be a thing. If I'm gonna play, I should be getting the money I signed to be getting paid. I should not be getting half of what I'm getting paid because the season's cut in half, on top of a 33% cut of the half that's already there. So I'm really getting like 25%. On top of that, it's getting taxed. So imagine how much I'm actually making to play. You know what I'm saying? Like, I ain't making. And on top of that, so all that money's gone. And now I play risking my life. And if I get the Rona, on top of that, if I get the Rona, guess what happens with that?
The Rona.
Oh, yeah, that's in my body forever. That damage is not going to be like, the damage that was done to my body, that's going to be there forever. So now I got to play with that on top of that. So y'all got to understand, man, for me to take a pay cut is not happening because the risk is through the roof. It's a shorter season, less pay. Like, bro, man, I got to get my money. I'm not playing unless I get mine.
Get your chickens. Get your mentals right. Blake Snell, who I did not know existed until right now, is not happy, and you can understand why whenever he lays it out that way. Yeah, love of the game is a real thing, but go ahead and ask if the teachers who love teaching would do it for free. They get paid next to nothing anyways, but if they would do it for complete free, you wouldn't do it. And now, granted, the money is massive for some guys. I would assume this guy's money is very long. I would assume
he's only making $7 million this year.
So, and I did 12% of $7 million is $960,000. So there's gonna be a lot of people who be like, oh, you can't play 80 games for almost $1 million.
Yeah. By the way, very valid point whenever you think about it. But if you're that guy, it's like, do I want to blow my arm out for $960,000? I have no idea how much money and how many pitches this arm has left. And is he a lefty? He looked like he was a lefty.
I think he is a lefty.
He was talking a lot with his left hand. I was just trying to figure it out there just by reading a little
body language,
non-communication, non-verbal communication. You know what I mean? Which is 80% of communication. So whenever you're watching a video and a guy has a mask on, like Anonymous or V for Vendetta, it's hard to understand what the hell he's saying. Need to turn captions on. Wait, movies are better whenever there's captions on. Oh, that's my life now. Okay. He looked like he was a lefty, though.
He is a lefty, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so he's a lefty. He says, hey, I don't know how many more on this elbow I have. And now you want me to do it for, 78% lower than I would normally do it for? You can understand why they would not be happy about that, the players. But then you can also understand why the fans of baseball, which I'm not sure how many there are. We got one in here, I think.
I like baseball.
You are not a fan of baseball.
I am a fan of baseball.
You are not a fan of baseball.
I love baseball.
Never heard you talk about the baseball one time.
Let's go Sox, baby.
Okay. When Big Papi got shot, that was the last time I heard you speak about baseball.
That was the saddest day of my life. I had a banner in here.
Saddest day of your life?
I had a banner. I had a Red Sox banner in here, a week ago?
Okay.
There was a banner in there.
There was a Boston Red Sox banner.
Well, why is it that?
Because he hates baseball. But that's the thing. I think the limited amount of fans that baseball have are not happy about the thought of baseball not happening because this 82-game season, by the way, and I might be completely off base, this feels like this could potentially be a sample for like, hey, can we shorten this season up a little bit, maybe sell more tickets to the games that we have as opposed to having 160-some games and there being none of that? Ty, you're a baseball fan. Is there any thought of shortening the season?
I don't think so, at least not cutting it in half. I think a lot of, like...
Why? I don't understand why you baseball people... Huh?
Stats. Baseball's all stats, and they'll never do it.
Oh, because you need that many games to potentially.
Well, no,
That's
just
a
'cause,
lot
like,
of at-bats guys aren't getting in a lot of games, like pitchers can't start. Like there's so much stuff that goes into it.
Because 70 home runs and stuff of that
Exactly.
nature has to happen with the long. Just like whenever it becomes a 17-game season, every record's going to get changed. Like Vinatieri is the all-time leading scorer in the 16-game era is what it will be. Because when it comes into a 17-game, if you get Justin Tucker, let's say Justin Tucker plays for another 10 years, and he's getting an extra game every single season, and those are the only points that they count, by the way, are regular season points, which makes no sense. Vinatieri would probably he has an entire another 3 years of football in the playoffs or whatever. All of the stats are going to have to change whenever things change. How about the stats from the will LeBron's playoff stats count if they run this tournament or whatever? They will. But is that fair to LeBron? Is that fair to LeBron that he has to go live in Las Vegas with table games open underneath? Imagine how Jordan would do if he had to go playoffs in the casino in Las Vegas. Imagine Dennis Rodman being out there. You know what I mean? It's going to take some real leadership on these basketball teams if they're in Las Vegas. But Florida's like, no, come down to Mickey Mouse World. So sorry to interrupt. If you're a man watching this, you deserve to have long, great. And you can do that now with our friends at Roman. Right now, you go to GetRoman.com. You get $10 off and free 2-day shipping on Roman swipes, which are guaranteed to make you have longer, more fulfilling every time you get in the sack. Now let's get back to the fornicating action.
And listen, the sentiment that Blake Snell was trying to put out there, actually, I think is fair. Players are taking the risk by going out there that owners are not. Players are taking the risk by traveling, whether it's via plane, via bus, staying in hotels, going into ballparks that, presumably have been cleaned and washed from floor to ceiling. But you never know if they missed a spot or if they forgot your locker. All of these things come into play with this. And I think it's fair for them to say, if we're taking a 50% pay cut from the March agreement that we did agree to, then that, is anyone else in baseball taking a 50% pay cut? Like Derek Jeter forewent his salary, but Derek Jeter is worth $250 million or $500 million. I don't see any guys in front offices taking 50% haircuts. I don't see any guys around the sport. So I think the players actually have a logical leg to stand on here. They just got to get their message straight, because the public, for some reason, always sides with owners.
Always.
That is just the way that it goes. The labor is greedy. The millionaires are greedy instead of the billionaires. It's just a fact of the way that America looks at professional sports. And something like this, even if Blake Snell's intention was good, even if he was trying to stand up for what he believes in and for what the other players believe in, it was just said in a fashion and a tone that does not come off well.
I think the tone is probably something that people immediately, because your tone is setting the environment for your statement, right? So the way you deliver something is setting the reaction immediately for what you're being said. I think what he's saying, though, is something that isn't being heard a lot. Like, that is 100% the conversations that are happening within the MLBPA, emails or conference calls and stuff like that. His delivery was something that could put some people off, but I like the information that was coming in there.